Welcome to Reflect on This. Hello, I am Johnny Henshaw. This is the podcast version of devotionals I send to my family and friends. In these devotionals, I share the things I'm learning about the ways and nature of God through applying my study of the Scriptures to the world around me. And don't forget to keep listening at the conclusion of today's episode to hear about my recommended resources, such as podcasts that I find helpful and encouraging, books that inspired some of these episodes, and ministries that I want you to know about. So let's get started. Please join me today as we reflect on this. As I've been thinking this week about Mother's Day, our upcoming day of honoring mothers, I came across a quote from Glenn Stanton on the value of women in human history. I heard this quote on the Crazy Little Thing Called Marriage podcast from Focus on the Family. Here is the quote: "Women create, shape, and maintain human culture. Manners exist because women exist. Worthy men adjust their behavior when a woman enters the room. They become better. Civilization arises and endures because women have expectations of themselves and for those around them. Woman is the most powerful living force on the globe. She creates, shapes, and sustains human civilization." Women in so many ways are the underlying strength of our families, our church fellowships, and our communities. Through their grace-filled influence, they make us all better. On that same podcast, they also gave a great example of this from human history. When Jamestown, the first American colony, was established in 1607, it was initially settled by just men. And the hope for those who invested in this expedition was that Jamestown was going to be a thriving and productive community. A year later, when the investors sent someone to see how the guys were doing, what they found basically was one big frat party. Nothing had been done, no work had been created, and few structures had been built. Do you know what the solution was? They persuaded single young women to set sail for the colonies in exchange for free passage, clothing, and land. And it worked beautifully. The influence of women helped turn Jamestown from a frat boy party into a productive community. The Bible describes the value of a virtuous woman in the following way from Proverbs chapter 31. "Who can find a wife of noble character or virtue?" Well, let's pause here for a moment. The Hebrew word translated as noble character or virtue means literally a force, an army, valor, or strength. I believe this is referring to the inherent feminine strength of women as they carry out their God-given calling in their families. Let's continue with this description of a virtuous woman. "She is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will not lack anything good. She rewards him with good, not evil, all the days of her life." The next section speaks to the industrious nature of a virtuous woman. "She selects various fabrics and works with willing hands. She rises while it is still night and provides food for her household. She draws on her strength. She watches over the activities of her household and is never idle." The next section speaks to the nurturing, caring nature of a virtuous woman. "Her hands reach out to the poor, and she extends her hands to the needy." The next verse speaks to her ability to anticipate difficult situations and to plan wisely for them. "She is not afraid for her household when it snows, for all in her household are doubly clothed. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she can laugh at the time to come." And here is a verse that describes her wise and loving nature with her family and others. "Her mouth speaks wisdom, and loving instruction is on her tongue." The result of a virtuous woman living out her God-given calling? Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also praises her. Many women have done noble deeds, but you surpass them all. Husbands, let's be sure on this Mother's Day and throughout the year to express this attitude of gratefulness to our wives for their loving influence on us and our families. Children, be sure to thank your mom often for her love and service to you. After all, the concluding words of Proverbs 31 says this, "A woman who fears the Lord is to be praised." Today, I encourage you to reflect on this. Today's featured resource is the Bible study software package entitled eSword. This free Bible study software is available for download to a wide range of computers and mobile devices, including Windows and Mac computers, and Apple and Android tablets and phones. The download includes several free public domain resources, including Bibles, dictionaries, commentaries, devotionals, and maps. You can then download from within the eSword program many more free public domain resources. You can optionally purchase whatever copyrighted resources you want to create a powerful study library. One of the greatest benefits of Bible study with this software is the multi-windowed display, so that you can simultaneously have windows open to a Bible translation, a dictionary, and a commentary. They are automatically linked, so that if you select a verse, then the corresponding entry in the selected dictionary and commentary are displayed. You can also easily compare Bible translations by viewing them in parallel windows. For the Bible translations that have embedded Strong's numbers, referencing the corresponding Hebrew or Greek word, you can hover over a Strong's number and a tooltip pops up with the Strong's definition for that word. To learn more and to get a free download of this amazing study tool, on your computer go to esword.net. That's e-sword.net. On your mobile device, go to your App Store and search for eSword. That's e-sword.